Hello. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you a little tour of our course and give you some insights into how this course operates. So first of all, welcome to English 102. Very excited to have you here on this step along your educational journey. Whenever you log into our course, you will end up here on this landing page. And here's where you're going to see all of the announcements for our class. Those announcements are also sent to your school email address. So one way or another, you're going to get the announcement. If there is a particular announcement, now it will only display the first couple of announcements here. If there's, as we go along, if there is a particular announcement you want to refer back to, just click on the word announcements and it'll take you to the announcements page. And here, as our class goes on, you'll be able to scroll down to see every single announcement posted for the class. To get back to that landing page, just click on Course Home and it'll take you right back to the beginning. You'll also notice on the left-hand side, there's a little calendar of assignments that are due. It's important to note, though, that these assignments it's just the assignments. It doesn't have the discussion board due dates, so those are separate. Secondly, if you click on syllabus, this will take you directly to our syllabus, obviously. And here on the syllabus, you'll see where my contact information is. You feel free to email me at any time. You can also call, but this is my cell phone number. So please text first because I won't answer if I don't know who's calling. Text first and then we can arrange a time when I can answer a phone call. Or if you just have a question and you just want to text it, feel free to text me your question and I'll answer as soon as I can. The next tab up here is called Content, and this is where you will go to access all the content and materials for our class. And if you have not taken a class at National University before, if this is your very first class, first of all, welcome. It's exciting to have you here. Glad that you're starting your educational journey. But secondly, most all the classes are kind of set up the same way. There's a few that are a little different depending on the discipline, but you're going to have a getting started pages, a learner's resource module. This one you wouldn't be able to see. It's only for the instructor view. And then you're going to have one block for each module. So I recommend that you start where it says getting started. You're just going to click on the little down arrow, and then that opens up all of the content that's available in that block, right? So you can start with this introduction. There's a video and a couple of videos that you can watch about how the courses work. And the next one is the course outline. So if you're a visual person, you like to use that kind of thing to look at how the course is going to work. This will give you some good insights into that. Next is the course timeline. So this is just a suggested timeline in terms of, for the most part, right? So for example, it's going to tell you in module 1 on Monday, you should be doing all of these things. But most of you work, and if Monday you're working, and you want to smush it together into Tuesday, that's okay too. The one thing to pay attention to are that when things are due. So here you're going to submit your initial post to this particular discussion board. So you want to make sure you do it by that day. end time. And this one happens to be due on Wednesday. Now, if you can't get to it, I know you all work. Some of you can't get to this stuff until the weekend. And for me, I am okay with extending those kinds of deadlines. It's best if you get all of the stuff for a particular module completed within that week that module is running. So module 1 is week 1, module 2 is week 2, 3 is week 3, and 4 is week 4. But if you have any trouble with timelines, just reach out to me and we'll see what we can do to help keep you on track to make sure that you are successful in the course. But again, it's just a recommended timeline. Other than the due dates of things, you should strive to meet those due dates. And then if you want to work ahead, of course, feel free to work ahead at any time. Just be careful not to get too far ahead. You can start drafting some stuff out, but you'll want to get some feedback first. We move very quickly in this class, but yeah, if you get too far ahead, then you're not going to be able to benefit from making an adjustment. Say, maybe you're setting your paper up the wrong way and you lose points for that, then yeah, you'll want to make sure you adjust that so you don't keep losing the same points for the same issue. The next thing is our course readings and resources. So you don't have a textbook in our class. Instead, we lean heavily on the library. And all of those readings are available by clicking on course resources. So it gives you a picture here, but this is it right here, course resources. We're going to look there in a few minutes. The next thing is the introduction. So whenever you see this little icon, it means it's a discussion board activity. So if you click on go to discussion, it's going to open up that discussion activity. You can read through that. And then in order to post, you're just going to click start a new thread. When I'm writing a thread, I like to write my name and then a little short description of what it is. And then you just type in your response and click post. I'm not going to click post because I don't want to post that. But the reason I put my name is because you're going to have to do some responses. And it just makes it a little bit easier. Sometimes what the person wrote is kind of long, but you'll see the title the whole time. So you'll know who you're talking to and remember how to respond to them. So that's that particular discussion board assignment. Right, and then the next one is the Q&A. So this is also a discussion board, and you'll go to the Q&A if you have a question that you want to ask. Since that Q&A is on the discussion board, means any student can see the question that you've asked. And so a student might know the answer, and another student can jump in there and give you the answer. Or you can wait for me to log in there and give you the answer. The nice thing about this is that very often you all have similar questions. And so this way, it's a place where everybody can kind of, it's like a FAQ page where we all build the FAQ together. And so you all get to see that and have insight into it. One of the first things you want to do in our class or any 4-week class is to really look at that final week. What's due in the final week? Because you pretty much can guarantee that the first 3 weeks, everything you do is building up to that final assignment. For our class, that final assignment is a paper, obviously. It's going to be an essay that will be an argument essay. So you're going to read a selection of articles. You're going to pick one of the articles that stands out to you the most, and then you're going to respond to that article by building a thesis and argument. We'll look just a minute at the article, the topics that you can select from, and how you read through the material. But what's important here is to note that this is a 4 to 5 page length paper. We're using APA format, so that means 12-point font, and typically you'll use Times New Roman or Arial as your font. And you'll have to follow all the rules of APA. Now, some of you might be rusty on that, but we're going to get you through it, and we'll give you the basics. So by the time you leave this class, you'll have those basics pretty much nailed down. One of the important things here is it's a 4 to 5 page paper. So that means the minimum is 4 pages, and that is a full 4 pages. It's not 3 1/4 or 3 1/2 or 3 3/4. It is 4 full pages. So you need to write all the way to the bottom of page 4 in order to meet that requirement. And then it shouldn't be more than 5 pages. Sometimes you might want to squeeze out a little bit more. If you get a smidge over 5 pages, it's going to be fine. If you start getting close to 6 pages, then that just means you haven't edited enough, right? So you'll lose points probably on the editing part. Also in APA, the title page and reference pages do not count in your page count. So you can't count that page. It just has your name on it as a page. And you can't count the page that has all your references listed as a page. Right. Also, you need to have 2 outside sources. So ultimately, you're going to have 3 references. You'll have the primary article you're responding to, and then 2 additional outside sources. There's this block here that gives you a bunch of direct links to a bunch of resources that you can rely on. And then we get into the meat and potatoes of our class, which are the actual modules. So each module represents a week. In week 1, you're going to be working on module 1. In week 2, on module 2, and so on. So when you click on this, you're going to get your introductory information, a couple of videos, and some insights. And then we come to the course reading and resources. This is the same thing we looked at before. And then we get into the lessons. So there's 4 lessons in week 1. And each lesson, you're going to read through the material, watch the videos, and then you're going to complete. Sorry, if we get going one by one, it's going a little slow. There's a learning activity and then a discussion. So there's this first discussion called Exploring the Conversation. And then you go to lesson 2, same kind of thing. You do the reading. And then here you have a couple of assignments. And then you go to lesson 3. And again, you've got some reading. And then a brainstorming and discussion. And then another learning activity. And then lesson 4, same sort of thing. And then your wrap up. And then that's it. You're done with module 4 or module 1. So that would be week 1. So now let me talk to you about how the course is structured. And we're going to do that by looking at our different assignments. So you just saw as we went through the module, as you go step by step through the module, it's going to pull up the assignments and the discussions that you need to do. Another way that you can get to them, though, is by clicking on coursework, and then you can select either assignments or discussions. We have them both in our class every week. So I'm going to start with the assignments because this helps show you what the structure of the course is. Right? So to begin, you've got a couple of bonus things to do where you can earn some bonus extra credit points right in the beginning. And then in module 1, we have these 2 assignments that are due. You also have some discussion boards that are due, but those are on a separate page. So this first one is called Highlight and Respond, and then the next one is called Effective Summary and Paraphrase. So what we're doing in week 1 is we're doing the initial the first step in the writing process, which is really the brainstorming and learning and thinking about your topic, right? So you're gonna do some reading, you're gonna figure out what your topic is, and then you're going to select a section of one of the articles that you read, and you're going to highlight it and then write up a response to it, like how you think you might respond. Right? So pick out something that stuck out to you that the author said that you really agree with or that you really disagree with. And you're going to copy that quote, and then you're going to write up what your response would be to that quote. And then the next one is a summary. So now you're going to take that same source that you picked, and you're going to write a summary of that article. So that's kind of the brainstorming part of it, right? And then you're going to do some discussion board activities that are going to help you develop that. Also on the discussion board, you're going to write your first, a draft of your introductory paragraph. You're going to figure out what your thesis is, and a couple of other writing activities over there. So that's all brainstorming and then starting to really get a good idea of what you want to write about. That's week 1. Week 2, you're going to dive into the research part, right? So this is where you go find your couple of articles that you're going to use as support. This is not an opinion paper, so you're not writing in first person. You're sticking with the APA third person approach. So you have to be objective and use outside sources that are going to be that evidence and support that you need. So you gather that research together, and you're going to create a mini annotated bibliography. You're going to develop a quote sandwich. So here you're just demonstrating that you know how to incorporate and properly cite a quote within a paragraph. And then you're going to give this outline of how you plan to use your evidence, which are the outside sources that you find. Again, you're going to have some discussion board activities. One of those is going to be that you need to write a body paragraph, right? So in week 1, we did an introductory paragraph. Week 2, we're going to do a body paragraph. Also in week 2, you need to make an appointment with the Writing Center. Make that appointment for somewhere toward the end of week 3, so that you have something to show them and to get some good feedback on. Then we come into week 3, and now this week you're going to, on the discussion board, you're going to do a draft of your conclusion paragraph. And then by the end of week 3, you're going to submit a rough draft of your essay. So we're building everything up to this one essay. Everything you do will funnel into this one essay. So in week 1, we did the introduction. Week 2, we did a body paragraph. Week 3, we did a conclusion. So at least you're going to have those 3 paragraphs, put it together, and you have a rough draft of your essay. If you can get 2 more body paragraphs in there, then you should be in really good shape. And then in week 4, you're going to get you'll have some feedback from me on your rough draft that you'll respond to, and then you have your final paper that's due. So that's pretty much how the course is structured. We're going to look at those discussions real quick just to go through them. Again, all of this, if you go through the module part, you go step by step, and the discussions will come up as they need to come up. But here we go. This is module 1. pre-writing. So we're exploring the conversation. So here you're going to pick the article you want to talk about. You're going to answer some questions about it. Then you're going to do some brainstorming. How do you think you might go about doing this? What's the ethical and Aristotelian appeal that you might use to develop your argument? And then you're going to formulate a thesis, right? Figure out what you think you might create in terms of your claim. And then you're going to put it all together and create an introductory paragraph. Again, that's module 1, week 1. Then we come to module 2. There's a lecture you're going to reflect on. Sorry about that. And submit your body paragraph. Module 3, you're going to work on effective titles, put together that conclusion, and then submit that peer review. And then module 4, we're all about the revision process now, right? You're going to have feedback from the Writing Center. You're going to have feedback from your peer review. You'll have feedback from me. And now you're going to take all of that and revise your essay. You'll do a final grammar check, which is the editing part. And then you're going to submit that final thing. Now you notice there is a quiz. There's only one quiz in this class, and this is all about APA. So you'll complete that quiz as well. Okay, so now let's go to the reading. Now you know what you need to do. We're going to go and take a look at, now I went through that too fast. Take a look at how you're going to, what your topics are going to be. So click on course resources. And this takes you right to the library. And from the library, you're going to click on course readings. And then you'll scroll down a little bit. And here are all the different topics, right? So you can do bail reform, burnout. We're all suffering through that these last year or so. Communication and relationships, homework, housing affordability, self-driving cars, threatened oceans, and the Ukraine war. So let's say we pick self-driving cars as our topic. Now you'll scroll down a little bit. You can read the little introduction here, but your important job this week is to pick whichever topic you want. Once you get to that topic, then you're going to read all of these articles. Right? You read every single one of them. And what this will do is it will give you some insight into both sides of the argument for or against whatever the topic is. So in this case, we've got self-driving cars. So first you kind of get a little bit of an introduction to what this means. This article talks about how the liquor industry wants self-driving cars out there. It makes a lot of sense, right? You can drink a lot and get home without a problem. So it eliminates a big problem for the liquor industry. This next article is about drunk driving on the rise with these smart cars and what that means, whether it's good or bad. Then you get some insight into the ethics of how the self-driving cars are programmed. So for example, if you are programming a self-driving car, you're going to have to make a decision about whether that car, when it's in a situation where it will either hit a pedestrian or veer away from the pedestrian, but it'll end up running into a brick wall or something and potentially killing the driver. You have to program the car to make those kinds of choices. Is it going to kill the pedestrian or is it going to kill the driver, right? So interesting things to think about around this topic, and it goes into a lot of different aspects of that. So this is just a sampling of all of the research that's out there about self-driving cars, but it gives you an insight now. Now you have some insight into both sides of what an argument might be, and you're going to go with your gut here. Just pick the first thing that comes into your head. We only have 4 weeks, so not a lot of time to think about it. Just pick one and go with it, and see where it leads you. Our goal is to put an essay together, and by the end you might have changed your mind, but we're gonna stick with what developing an argument around what we started with. But that does bring up an important point. Sometimes a student gets an idea in their head that, and I've done this too when I've been writing. I think that it's one thing, and I'm going down that path, and I do my research, and I just can't find any evidence to support my idea, or I'm finding it the opposite. Right? And so then you get into this conundrum. It's like, oh no, what do I do? I've messed up my essay. All you have to do is just switch it up. Just change. It's okay to change your mind. That's part of this process. You're learning more and you're diving in. That's why we do research, so we can learn and grow more. And you might get convinced into another frame of mind. And so it's okay to change your focus, to change your thesis. This is why it's all in draft form right at the beginning. So you can still come back and tweak and change whatever you need to. So you might think in week 1 that this is going to be my thesis statement, and then you go by week 2, you're doing research and you're like, oh no, that's not going to work. Change up your thesis statement. It's okay. So now that you've read all of this, in this one topic, you don't have to read all the topics. Just pick the topic you want and read the articles with that topic. And then pick one article from that list, and that's going to be your primary source. That's going to be the article you're responding to. So if you think back to the last time you wrote an essay about like Shakespeare, you probably, hopefully you wrote about Shakespeare and remember that. So this works the same way. Shakespeare was your primary source, then whatever play you read. Here, you're going to pick an article, and that article will become your primary source. So if I pick this liquor industry one, that's going to be my primary source. And now I may agree or disagree with the primary source, but that's how I frame my whole essay, is around proving they're right or proving that author and article are wrong. And then you're going to pick 2 more sources. So that will be your primary source, and then pick 2 more. So you can do some research in the library and find 2 more, or you can pick 2 other ones out of this list that you think you might use. But that's how that, excuse me, how that works. And that's it. That is our course in a nutshell. So again, if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to text me, or you can email me, or post a question on the discussion board, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I look forward to working with you over the next few weeks. All right. Have a great night.